Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Startup Garage podcast, your source for all things startups. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Sedale Turbovsky on the line, and he's CEO over at Open Grants. Sedale, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, man, so excited to get into today's episode. I mean, let's just jump right in. So first off, tell us a little bit more about Open Grants, please.
Of course, yeah. Open Grants is a platform designed to connect early-stage deep technology startups to federal grants. There's a multi-billion-dollar, $135 billion of federal money every year, more or less, that gets inverted and invested into research development, all kinds of things. This is capital that's essential for startups to grow and develop really breakthrough transformational technologies. And our mission is to connect those startups to that capital and help them navigate the ecosystem, which can be very difficult to engage with.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I may be, but my impression is that most startups and most of the smaller companies don't necessarily even know they qualify for these grants when they do, number one. And number two, because of that, the bulk of the money really typically goes to, large enterprises maybe, or people that already kind of navigate or have the manpower to navigate that governmental infrastructure to get those grants. Am I off on the landscape? And if so, please let me know how.
No, that's exactly correct. The crazy thing is that there's all this money, there's this rich, diverse ecosystem floating around, and all of these startups who are out here feverishly raising venture capital and leveraging credit cards and all those kind of things, they are frequently really unaware that these grant programs exist, and they're unaware that they're eligible for the funding. And they struggle, even if they are aware, they struggle to develop competitive applications and submit them because they don't have the team and the insider knowledge that some of these larger companies have, where they'll spin off a team to go get a grant and they'll use that money to continue to fund their innovation and research. But the real problem is that these large companies, their whole goal is to maintain the status quo so they can keep making money. And you have these researchers and scientists who have built these startups who are making transformational changes to how we live our lives and how we conduct business on Earth. And they're frequently shut out from these funding opportunities by a lack of transparency, a lack of accessibility, onerous administrative requirements. There's a long laundry list of reasons that startups simply choose not to work with the government. And so we're very excited to be solving that problem.
Let's get into some of the nuts and bolts of this. So how exactly are you helping startups do this? Walk us through a little bit of your process, please.
Of course. So the main pain points we solve are, one, a lack of knowledge that good funding opportunities are out there. Two, a lack of understanding and a lack of capacity to develop competitive proposals to win that money. And three, a lack of ability to manage that money. And once again, that comes back more to capacity and understanding. So a startup on our platform can create a profile and then be matched to funding opportunities instantly. So instead of having to go on grants.gov and FBO and BetaSAM and visit all these government sites, they can just go to one place and find all the funding opportunities that are relevant to them. And that can include federal, state, local grants. Across the universe of government funding, there are grant programs at every level. And startups can access those all in one place on our platform in a nice summarized way. So instead of having to read through an RFP, they just get access to a summary and they can evaluate and understand, this is something that's really relevant that we should go after. As soon as they find that funding, they can actually then connect with a grant writer who knows the program and knows how to navigate the program. So they instantly have not only an understanding of what's available to them, but the capacity to put together a winning proposal and be competitive. And finally, what we offer on our platform is the opportunity for them to manage the award after they've received it on our platform. So basically like TurboTax, but for government grants, where we've unraveled all of that legal complexity so that they know by the time they get to the end of the award that they've spent their money properly. And if they do get an audit, they have a record that they're ready to submit that will allow them to have a positive audit and not encounter any negative audit findings. So we provide an end-to-end solution to streamline that process for our startup users.
Man, that's exciting. And what kind of response have you gotten from this so far? I'm just curious on the users and the platform and kind of some of the feedback you've gotten.
Yeah, it's been great. Almost universally, when we've engaged new users or investors, they say, oh, this is an issue. It's something that we understand as a problem, and we're so excited that you're fixing it. So that's been great. We have an incredible community of both users and grant writers that's been growing significantly over the last few quarters. And so, it's incredible. We're generating revenue in a climate where, a lot of folks are struggling. And so we consider ourselves very lucky to have come to the market at a time where people really are realizing how inefficient and terrible the public funding ecosystem is. And you're seeing it across the board with everything from grants related to COVID to public funding programs to help prop up small businesses, where there's this universal failure of the government to understand their stakeholders in an efficient way and make data-driven decisions. And it's not necessarily their fault, but they simply don't have the tools or infrastructure to act and provide services in a modern way. And that's what Open Grants helps solve is really giving that data layer so that, a bureaucrat looking to deploy, the Paycheck Protection Program would have understood, hey, maybe Shake Shack doesn't need it, but, Joe's hardware store down the street really does if they're going to continue to serve their community. We're very passionate about creating those efficiencies in government overall, and grants are simply, the way in.
So where are you at with the company now? So are you raising money? Are you looking for capital? Tell us about expansion.
Yeah, we are as I mentioned, we're in a very lucky spot. We're very pleased to have put in a lot of work over the last year and a half to have, we have runway. So we just raised some money a little while ago, and we are currently raising another round to help drive our expansion to the market. So we're just turning the switch, moving from our building mode and designing mode to expansion and scaling. And so we're very excited about that. We are raising capital to go out and really start to address the larger market. Right now we are in California, and we cover the federal government and their funding ecosystem and the ecosystem in California. And we're looking to expand nationally first to cover all of the United States. And go globally after that. But very excited to be in that mode of fundraising and scaling, moving out across the United States.
Man, that's awesome. So, Sedale, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on Open Grants, what's the best way for them to reach out and to connect?
There's a couple great ways. OpenGrants.io is our website. Please visit it. Feel free to sign up. It's free to sign up and get started and find grants. So do that. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. If you search Sedale Turbovsky or Open Grants and then look at the employees, you'll see me. And I'm always open to connect and collaborate with folks. So definitely reach out either way and happy to connect.
Fantastic. Well, Sedale, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work that you're doing over at Open Grants to help our entrepreneurs out there. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Startup Garage, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Sedale, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you, Adam. It was a pleasure.